Hello and welcome to another of my Facebook Lives. As always, I'm going to hang about for 2 or 3 minutes just to see if anyone wants to join us live. So in the meantime, I'm going to check that everything is working as it should be, because I've been caught out a few times, technically speaking. So let's have a look. It would help if I could actually access Facebook at all. At the moment, apparently I can't. Well, that's helpful. I'll wait till that loads. So yes, if you are watching this in the replay, then feel free to skip ahead to around minute 3 for the good stuff. And for the next minute or so, I shall just be mooching around. If you're watching live, then do say hello and let me know if you can see and hear me all right while I wait. Oh, actually, I've just remembered I don't need to share this to my group, but I do want to check I'm visible. So let's have a look. Oh, there I am. That's good. That's good. Okay. Excellent. Hey, Wendy. Nice to see you. This new tool that I'm using doesn't let me see who's joined, so it's nice to see you there. Okay, where are we? We've got about a minute more to go until I get started. While we are waiting, Wendy, I know you've already done this, but if anyone's watching this in the replay and you would like to subscribe to get reminders of my Facebook Lives, then you can do so by typing reminder into the comments, and you will then get a Facebook Messenger message to let you know each time I'm planning to go live and when. So, okay, we're at 33 minutes past, so I think it's safe to make a start. So today, I wanted to talk to you about how to know if you've chosen the right niche for your online business. This is something that can make such a huge difference. If you haven't chosen a niche and your kind of business area is too general, it will really impact everything in your business. It will impact trying to identify who your ideal clients are. It will impact the kind of strength of your message. It will impact the strength of your brand, and it will impact the strength of your products and services, because the more focused you are, especially when you're just starting out, the more you're going to be able to kind of call out to people who are your ideal clients. It feels counterintuitive because the kind of everything in you is wanting to appeal to as many people as possible. It feels like that is what makes sense in marketing. It's kind of like mass appeal. And while as you become better known and you start to establish more of a following, more visibility, it is possible to kind of become more sort of generalist. When you're starting out, you can't do that because your message will be so watered down that no one's going to be interested. So I shall tell the story that, Wendy, you've probably heard many, many times now. Not the story, give the analogy, should I say. That's one of my favourite analogies for when I'm trying to kind of explain this concept. And that is the analogy of the wedding photographer, or rather the photographer. So imagine you're a photographer and sorry, no, let's start this again. Imagine you are a couple or part of a couple looking for a wedding photographer. You're getting married next summer and you are looking for the perfect photographer to capture all those special moments. Now, you have two options. You have a photographer who has advertised themselves as able to do family portraits, pets, weddings, you name it. And then you've got a wedding photographer who specializes in weddings. Weddings are their passion. It's what they spend their time doing. It's what they've spent their time learning. Who are you going to go for? Of course, you're going to go for the specialist rather than the generalist. And if you apply that thinking, it helps you to see why it makes so much more sense to choose a niche, to try and, as they call it, niche down, but to get more specific in who you're serving and what exactly you're helping them with. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about your niche. I've written a blog post about it that I posted on Monday, or published on Monday. So if you haven't already read that, go and check it out. I'll be talking about a lot of the same kind of principles tonight that I talk about in that post. So a lot of that you'll see again. First of all, I want to talk to you before I kind of dive into the kind of key factors that will help you know if you've chosen the right niche. I want to talk to you a bit about me and my own story and how it made such a huge difference when I was able to kind of establish my niche and work out what it was. I didn't know it from day one by any means. And in fact, my business is now almost unrecognizable from the one that I started around a year ago. So when I was in my 9-to-5 and dreaming of setting up my own business, the first kind of concept of that business was as a copywriter. In fact, my business was then called Just Right For You. And it was based on the fact that my key skills at work were marketing and copywriting. And it's something that I enjoyed doing. And I felt like I could probably, make a decent living from it. So I set up this business as a copywriter, and I also planned to offer kind of consultancy work to small businesses to help them with copywriting and sort of all things marketing. And gradually that started to evolve for many reasons. And I realised that I didn't enjoy copywriting for others as much as I did for myself. I realised that selling my time instead of something which could be more scalable, such as courses or a membership site, made not as much sense. And so various things gradually drew me down a different path. And so I changed from Just Right For You. I stopped marketing copywriting services, and I started focusing completely on helping people with their online business. But at that point, I still was just focusing on small businesses, which is a pretty generalist topic. Online marketing for small businesses, two pretty huge subjects and sort of areas. So not very niche. And I knew that I needed to get more specific, but I couldn't work out how or in what way. And it was really frustrating. And I knew that while I was struggling with this, my message and my marketing and my branding and everything about my business was watered down, and that I would struggle to really kind of get a footing if I continued like that. So long story, slightly less long. With the work of a fantastic coach, working with a fantastic coach called Naomi Adu. I've mentioned her in my email this week, if you're on my email list. She helped me on our very first session. I was talking to her about how I was really struggling with this and how I knew that I needed to get more specific. I knew that I needed to find more of a niche, but that I just couldn't work out what was right for me. And between us, we had this fantastic conversation, and she suggested something which, as soon as she said it, felt so right and so obvious that I couldn't believe I hadn't thought about it before. And that was helping people who were in a corporate role, who were still working in a 9-to-5, to get out of that 9-to-5 and to create their own business. And so was born the business that you now see today. So I know it's a bit of a long story, but I wanted to kind of really get across to you the impact that had on me. As soon as I had finished that conversation with Naomi, and I knew that this was the right niche for me because I had left my own corporate role, a role that I'd been in for 13 years, and I knew that that transition was such a key kind of turning point in my life, and I wanted to help as many people as possible to kind of experience that too. As soon as I realised that that's what I wanted to do, that was the niche that I was right for and that was right for me, everything in my business changed. I completely rebranded my business over the weekend. I changed, even things like my colours, my brand colours changed. I was able to make my messaging more clear and more focused because I knew now I was just targeting not all small businesses, but in fact, those people who were still struggling to get out of their 9-to-5, who were setting up their business, or perhaps even haven't even started setting up their business. And everything became more focused. Everything felt like it slotted into place. And it was such a key point in my business. And that's why I just wanted to tell that story so that I can get over to you how important it is to find that niche that's right for you and that's right for your business, because once you do, it will make such a huge difference. So with that, let's actually get started with how you can tell if you have chosen the right niche, or indeed how you can choose the right niche if you are still struggling to get there. So if you read my post on Monday, you will know that I came up with this fantastic acronym, PASP. P-A-S-P. I tried to come up with something that was actually a word, but I couldn't. I gave up. So PASP it is, and that stands for passion, ability, specificity, and profitability. Okay, so let's go into each of those in a little bit more detail. So I'm actually going to remember to update my little comment. So let's start with passion. Okay, so of course, whatever it is that you're going to focus on in your business, it needs to be something that you feel really passionate about, because if you don't, it's, well, A, it's going to be miserable for you, because, you know, what's the point of quitting your 9 to 5 if you're just going to set up a business in something that you're also not that bothered about? Thanks, Wendy. I think so. It feels right. I just knew it was the right choice. But also, if you're not passionate about what you do, that will shine through. People will be able to see it in the way that you speak, in the way that you write, and in everything in your business. If it's not something that you are passionate about, chances are you're not going to have the passion that's going to drive you through to success, because it does take that passion. Building your business is hard. There are going to be times when you feel like giving up, where you feel like you're never going to get there. And in those points, at those times, it is your passion that is going to keep you going. So make sure that the niche that you choose is something that you feel passionate about. Number two was ability. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense. If you're going to set up a business around something, it needs to be something that you have ability at, that you are skilled in, that you have experience with, and that you are genuinely going to help others with. So again, when you're coming up with niche ideas, or whether you're questioning a niche you've already chosen, you know, be really honest with yourself. Is this something that I have enough ability with to make money from? Now, there's two dangers here. There is one that you will be sort of over humble and kind of go, oh no, I'm not good enough. I'd never be able to do it. Now, don't do that. Be honest with yourself. You don't need to be perfect. You don't even need to be like the master at something, because you will learn and grow with your business. You just need to make sure that the level that you're at is a level that you can start off at and sell something related to that niche, if that makes sense. So question your ability. Is this something I know enough about that I can create a business around it, and that I can actually genuinely help and serve people with? Number three. So number three, specificity. I think I spelled that right. Specificity. Try saying that 3 times fast as I put in my blog post. Okay, so number three, specificity. So this is going back to to the kind of analogy that I gave at the start. The more specific, especially when you're just starting out, the better. When you're starting out, you don't have the visibility. So your key priority is to kind of grow that awareness of your business and to create some kind of hook that is going to draw people to you and to your business. And the more specific your niche, the bigger the hook is. So again, it feels counterintuitive. You feel like you want to go broad and attract loads of people, but the broader you go, the more watered down your message is, and actually the less of a hook you have. So going back to that analogy that I gave about the couple looking for a wedding photographer, of course they go and choose this specialist wedding photographer over the generalist photographer who does everything, because they know that that wedding photographer, their passion is for weddings, and chances are they're going to do a better job. So remember that story and get as specific as you can. There is nothing to stop you going more general as you increase your visibility and you increase your following and your brand gets stronger. You can by all means then start to broaden out. But when you're just starting out, get as specific as possible. So when you're questioning your niche, when you're trying to think of a niche, or you've chosen a niche and you want to know if it's the right one, question how specific you are. How much of a hook do you have, so that when people see your site, your Facebook page, whatever it may be, they feel like they've landed, they've found what they were looking for, they've found, you know, where they belong. So specificity is key. And then fourth and finally, profitability. Okay, so again, this is a business we're talking about, so it needs to make money. Do your research, do your due diligence. When you've thought of a niche, you know you're passionate about it, you know your ability is strong, it's specific. Is it going to be profitable? Do some research. Are there other businesses out there doing something similar that are making money? Ask people who you see as being your ideal customers. You know, is this something that you would be interested in? Is this something that you would be prepared to pay money for? Do your research now at the start, because better to learn that in fact maybe it won't be so profitable at the start before you've put 6 months of work and effort into it, than finding out down the line when you've already poured heart, soul, and perhaps a lot of money into it too. So those are my 4 kind of key factors to understand and to know if you've chosen the right niche. So we've got passion, ability, specificity, and profitability. So hopefully that's helped you and given you a few ideas to really kind of get clear on your own niche. Now, if you want to take it a step further, I have actually created a niche calculator that allows you to kind of take these factors and actually kind of put some numbers to it. And if you've got a number of different niche ideas, it'll allow you to kind of compare and contrast them and to really kind of get some clarity over whether a niche is going to work for you or not. So if you would like to get your hands on that niche calculator, you can do so by becoming a beta tester for my new membership site, Your Business Lounge. If you've watched any of my Facebook Lives over the last week or so, you will probably have heard me talk about Your Business Lounge. But in case you haven't, let me tell you exactly what it is. So this is my new baby, my new project. As I mentioned at the start of this, my passion is helping people to get out of their 9-to-5 and to create a business doing what they love. And this membership site is set up all around that. The goal is for members to join who are still in their 9-to-5, and that we will then support them all the way through to being able to quit their 9-to-5 for good and have a thriving business doing what they love. So I can't tell you, I am so passionate about this. I have poured my heart and soul into it, and I am now at the point where I would love people to come in and to test it for me and to tell me what they think before I launch it properly in a month or so. We already have a few people in there, Wendy, and so far feedback is good. But there are 4 key pillars within Your Business Lounge. The first is study. So you'll have access to kind of online courses and resources to help you develop yourself as you grow your business. You'll also, the second of the pillars is support. So while self-study is great, it's brilliant to have that extra support. So you'll have support from me in the form of kind of coaching and mastermind calls, but there'll also be peer-to-peer support, which is just as useful, being able to compare notes with other people going through the same journey, to share experiences, to share failures and learnings, but also to share wins and successes, to meet new contacts and you know, collaborate, and all of that great stuff that comes from being part of an entrepreneurial community of people all at the same sort of stage as you. So support is really key as well. Social is a part of that as well, so it doesn't necessarily always have to be about kind of growing your business together, but just actually meeting people who understand what you're going through and who you can chat to and bounce ideas off, and so on, and kind of make new friends. So we have, there's a real focus on helping people to socialise, to meet one another, and so on. And then lastly, so one of my Facebook Lives last week was all around the importance of being of service to others when you're creating a business. And so there's opportunities to do that too, and to kind of help each other out through member offers, notice boards. We have a business directory that you can join and then use, and so on. So there's tons and tons of great stuff in there. I am there. My key goal is to help you get results, to to help you get from that point where you're in your 9 to 5 to the point where you can quit your 9 to 5 for good and you have that thriving business. So that is what drives me. That is the whole purpose of your business lounge. I would like people to come and test it. I'll be launching it next month for £19.99 per month. But for now, I'm inviting testers for just £5 a month to have access to all of that for 2 months. Let me know what you think. And that's all I ask in return. So if that's something that you'd be interested in doing, then type BETA, BETA in the comments. And you'll be sent some details on a little bit more information on the site, but also how to sign up as a beta tester. So with that, Wendy, anyone watching, check it out and become part of our family in Business Land. Yay! Woo! Yeah, thanks, Wendy. And thanks for anyone who's watching in the replay. And I shall see you again soon, I'm sure. Take care. Bye.